Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Trev back again. I'm going to bring you another video. This video is going to be doing a character spotlight on none other than the Walking Dead television series version of Andrea. Alright, so if any of you guys have not seen the entire third season of The Walking Dead all the way through to the finale, you don't want to watch this, as this will contain some spoilers, because I can't really talk about the character without revealing some details about the conclusion. So I'll just say it now. Any of you dudes in the UK, if you haven't seen it or whatever the situation may be, wait until next week when it airs or whatever, what have you, come back and watch this later. So there will be spoilers. So that being said, if you guys watch my spotlight on Merle, I thought it turned out pretty good. I enjoyed doing it, and I think you guys, a lot of people enjoyed watching it. So I figured, Andrea is a mainstay character. She's been a character that's been an A-lister since the first season. How could I not do a character spotlight for her? And I intend on doing this for pretty much every character as they, exit the show, so to speak. So, Andrea. All right. Now, first thing I want to say is that Andrea is completely different in the television series and the comic book. So different that she basically only shares the same name, the same beginning, I'd say, and the same visual appearance for the most part. Although certain things are different, like in the comic book series, she gets that gash from here to here from Thomas, and in the television series, that's not the case. And her story arc with the governor is completely different, as well as the Dale story arc is a lot different as well. Now, I like to think of the television series version as sort of like, what would happen to Andrea if Dale's not around and then she gets separated from the group? And I think that the way they handled Andrea in the television series was really interesting. Really, really interesting. And it really separates the television series from the comic book. Her especially. I mean, Laurie is generally the same character in both, for the most part. She's basically the same in the comic book series and the television series. Rick has some differences, just to go down the list of some of the others. A lot of the characters are much the same. Glenn is, I'd say, almost exactly the same or close to it, maybe a little bit more badass in the TV series. Maggie is very similar, maybe a little bit more badass in TV series. Herschel as well, very similar but minor differences, of course, with the foot and everything, leg and everything. But Andrea is definitely one of those characters that really, just like Shane, was completely different in the television series as she was in the comic book. Now, let's talk a little bit about the decisions they made to kind of change her and how she was used in the television series versus the comic book. I think one of the major things with the television series is that they don't want to have too many actors or actresses in the show at one time, and they're going to be adding on a lot more in Season 4 with the events of the finale there. Rick's group has grown exponentially. It's huge. So more than doubled, quadrupled, 10 times what it was, probably close to. It's way bigger than it was before in Season 3. So there may not be room to have characters like Andrea and the others, even though she was a mainstay character. You're going to be adding on a lot more. You've got Tyrese coming in. You've got more characters coming in. So it does make sense for the most part to kill her off. Plus, Milton's going to get killed off. He served his purpose. I don't want to say he's one-dimensional, but he's fairly one-dimensional. Fairly. I mean, not entirely, but fairly one-dimensional. And I think over the long run, you probably wouldn't want to have a character like him around for too long because he can't really defend himself too well. Merle, as well, will be thought of mostly as a Season 3 character. And Andrea, a character you think of the first 3 seasons. So in the beginning, she starts out basically the same as from the comic book series, meets Rick, of course, in Atlanta. Then, of course, with the camp that they had there. And she loses her sister Amy, which is a pretty touching scene in the television series. Better than it was handled in the comic book, I think, is the one to put her down. Loses hope for her survival. Dale basically kind of blackmails her out of killing herself because, if she stays, then he says he's going to stay. And, she essentially either pretty much has no choice. She either leaves or she has to, deal with at that moment the fact that Dale's going to kill himself for her. So they leave, and I think overall it was a good decision for her to stick around for a little while longer because she did quite a bit of good with the whole governor situation. I think she tried her best, and she did assist or aid the situation, make things a little bit better for Rick's group. in there, letting them know and trying to negotiate a peace, even though it did not work out. Season 2, she had not as big of a role. She was more like a B-lister, I guess you could say, except for the premiere where she's in the RV, kill on the RV zombie with a screwdriver. That was pretty badass. With Shane, had a couple of good scenes with Shane there, with learning how to shoot, and the party girl scene in the car. You guys know what I'm talking about. And then going on from there, of course, the season finale, she gets separated up. Plus, she messed up there and almost killed Daryl. Almost, very close, thinking he was a walker. And, I don't remember too much else from her season 2. Those were the main things I remember out of her in season 2. Maybe some lines, but those are the main actions. So season 3 comes around. She's separated. She finds Michonne, and then they meet the governor. So take two different takes on it. She stays with the governor. Michonne knows he's full of shit, and she leaves. Then, of course, Andrea kind of finds out what happens with the governor, stops Michonne from killing him, even though it was really close, which probably was a mistake. But again, from her perspective, she didn't know. She probably thought Michonne was going nuts, as she'd been with her on the road for a while. Which is nice later on that we get that scene before the credits of her and Michonne just kind of on their own, out of chronological order, just kind of chilling and, at the whole campfire and surviving by themselves with the pet walkers, of course. Then, of course, she gets a heavy focus because she becomes the governor's main squeeze. Almost kills him with a knife, but can't do it. Tries to arrange for peace, doesn't work. Visits the group there to try and work things out a little bit. And then, of course, at the end, when she realizes that the governor is at a point of no return, tries to escape and warn the group what is about to occur, what is about to happen. Really exciting scene when he's chasing after her in the final one where she just gets to the prison and, the governor grabs her and Rick thinks he's just seeing some kind of hallucination like always. I thought that was pretty brilliant as he's been seeing them all season. Then in the finale, in her going out, I could probably do a whole video just talking about the death and everything like that, and I probably will. But overall, I think the death was a little rushed. From a Q&A, I'll put the link to the Q&A in the description. The actress Laurie Holden said that it wasn't really planned. They kind of added it in, or at least she got the call almost at the last minute, like really soon to when they were filming the last episode. She didn't know beforehand they were going to kill her off up until that point. They may have just had it in the script and not told anybody because they don't want people, quitting or whatever, things like this, or, all of that. So they tell them at a certain time they plan for it. So it did feel a bit rushed, though, the whole death. I'll say that. And it was pretty cruel the way the governor did it. I think that's maybe the most evil thing he's ever done, aside from gunning down all those people, just massacring them. This might be worse, though, because a quick death like a gunshot's better than leaving you tied to a chair by handcuffs, killing Milton without stabbing him in the head, allowing him to turn and then eat you, so you have to sit there and wait for this walker to come and eat you. Brutal, man. Brutal. Nobody comes to a rescue. Damn. Very sad ending, but at least she got a chance to sort of meet with Rick and the group, a small splinter portion of the group, one last time to see Michonne. Very touching scene, great acting from everybody. Says she knows how to turn the safety on this time, or the safety off this time. That was really sad. And, made for the main death in the season finale, which was, I think it was very surprising. And, I don't know necessarily if I'd say I liked it or not. I probably would have preferred that she survived. Yeah, I think I would have preferred that she survived. So I guess that would mean to me that I actually don't like the death. I actually would have preferred that if they were able to rescue her and she would have been able to join the group again, I think that would have been even better. Because, a death is like, it's good for shock value and getting attention from people and for people not being able to predict what's going to happen next. But she was a great character to have around. If she's not going to be with the governor anymore, Laurie's dead, of course. She's been around a few times. She's like the Walking Dead bicycle. Maybe Rick will get lonely in a couple of years, and, they could write that in, right? So, but if you want to see that version, then read the comic book. You'll probably like that version of Andrea better. In terms of which version of Andrea do I like better, I liked Laurie Holden as the actress to portray Andrea. I thought she was perfect. Nothing against her. She was spot on from what I would think. But I like the decisions they made with the character better in the comic book series, to where she becomes this monster, this sniper, this marksman, where she can just take down like a dozen dudes by herself in a tower, where she can just like, just take guys down one-on-one against a guy with a butcher knife. She's able to run away and survive. She's not just a victim. She's not just a damsel in distress, but she's also a warrior later on. That's the version of Andrea that I prefer. So nothing against the actress. She did a fantastic job. But I really would have liked to see that character come to life in the television series. And unfortunately, because of this, we just never did. So because of that, I guess what I'm doing here is I'm convincing myself as I talk about it that it was actually a really bad death. Killing her off at this point was a mistake. But again, I'll do it in a whole video by itself. This is just a character spotlight. So that's how I feel about the death. I won't talk any more about it. I'll save that for an independent video. However, the character from the TV series, yes, for the time she was around, she was kind of the Walking Dead bicycle, although there was never a hint that her and Dale slept together in the TV series. Not like it was in the comic book series where they kind of said it. No, they kind of stated that that was the situation. We never knew for sure. It kind of seemed like, her and Dale kind of had something, but again, the age difference, and they weren't really sleeping with each other as far as we know, or at least I don't think they were. It wasn't really something where we saw like a love scene like with Maggie and Glenn or anything like that. That would have been awkward. But overall, I mean, she was a cool character. I do think that she was used at least pretty well in Season 3, and we'll get lots of new characters in Season 4. So, her leaving the show, it's not the end of the world, but she was one of those main characters we had from the beginning, and which, as a result, a lot of us liked her as a character, thought she was really good, and I think she had more potential than they gave her. So it is a shame, oh well, but again, we do have that version in the comic books, so you can use your imagination, you can read it, and picture what the actress, Laurie Holden, would actually be like in the series if she had become like that. However, the Walking Dead television series and comic book are not the same, and that's a good thing, because then we would just be able to predict everything that's happening, and that would be really boring to watch us just like a TV interpretation of the comic series where every event is exactly the same. That would suck. So overall, I did like the character. I thought she was interesting. She was fun. I liked how she in Season 3 was stuck between both sides. I liked the different relationships she had here and there. And I think overall she was a great actress and great character on The Walking Dead. And definitely a character I think they could have done better with and will be missed in future seasons. But nevertheless, that's that. Don't really have too much more to say about the character other than I did like the character and wish they would have kept her around for longer. I would have been more satisfied with the finale, I think, if they would have just rescued her instead of had her getting killed by Milton or had something happen. Maybe Tyrese finds her or something like that. That's what I was hoping would happen. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. For any video suggestions, please PM me or write them in the comments. Gonna need some more because obviously Walking Dead won't be back for a while. So lots of discussion topics help me make new videos. That's it for this video. I'll see you for the next one. This is Trev, and I'm saying peace, guys.